Hello, everyone. Hope that all of you are having a fantastic Thursday. Thank you for joining us today for our second Lunch and Learn of this semester. This Lunch and Learn is built around video and using video in your courses, and we'd like to spend most of our time talking about video editing and how we can do video editing and things like that. Before we get started, though, I'm going to ask just a couple of quick questions. How many of you are familiar with the fact that we have two Zoom broadcasting rooms on the Fredericksburg campus? You can raise your hand or give me a green thumbs up, or you can give me a red X or something. Give me some sort of reaction so that I know that you know that we have those options available on campus. There's two available on Fredericksburg, and there's one available at Locust Grove, and we're working on Stafford and DTC. Okay, good. Those rooms are available for faculty so that you can come to campus and you will have a room that you can either do a Zoom synchronous sessions, like if you wanted to hold your online synchronous class there, or you can even use it as a little bit recording studio. Let's say that you wanted to have a special space of where you're not going to have your cat or dog in the background or a kid or something like that, because that's normally how my house works, or the doorbell, and you just wanted to have a place to come record as many videos as possible. You can do that. And so we just wanted to make sure that everyone was aware of that before we move forward. So with that out of the way, I'm going to turn my camera off so that you don't see me flailing about, because that's generally how I work. And we're just going to walk into looking at some of these slides and talking through it. So today we're going to be talking through specifically Canvas Studio, video quizzing, Camtasia, and Harmonize. Those are the kind of the four things that we wanted to talk about so that we make sure that we're all on the same page and we know what we're doing. So by a quick reaction, thumbs up, thumbs down, how many of you are familiar with Canvas Studio or are actively using it in your course? So you can give me a green check, red X, thumbs up, give me some sort of reaction so that I know how we are. Okay. Seeing some thumbs up, seeing the red X or two, very good. So Canvas Studio, this is going to be pretty familiar to most of you then, but so we're going to do just a really high level overview. The slides that we're about to run through are very detailed. I'm not going to spend a ton of time on them just because we put them in here for those of you that did not know. And then after the session, you could use these slides as a tutorial and a reminder of how Canvas Studio works. So Canvas Studio is the actual video repository that lives inside of Canvas. It's available on the global navigation menu, or it's available inside the rich content editor. You can click on the blue studio icon. I call it the squid with a play button on it. You can also add it to the course navigation, I think sometimes. I don't know if we have that one locked or not, so I might have just misspoke. But I know that we have it on the global navigation and here in the rich content editor. And what it does is it allows you to record and add video media directly into your course, directly into Pages, directly into the places that you would like it anywhere inside your class, inside your Canvas course. So when you go open Studio, this is the global view of Studio. You'll notice that we see some icons there, some thumbnails of some videos that have been recorded. But if you look in the top right, you'll see where it says record. And when you click record, this is where you're going to choose to actively record directly into Studio. You can either choose to screen capture, where it's going to actually pull up Screencast-O-Matic and let you record what's happening on your screen, or if you just want to record yourself, you can use that. You can just do the webcam. I will say that this is probably the best thing to do if you're recording just a really quick one-off video and you want to get it out there for your students. This is an excellent option for that. Screen capture looks a little bit like this. Like I said, it looks like Screencast-O-Matic. You can use either both your webcam and the screen, or just the screen or just the webcam. I have found in my experience that recording this way works a lot better than just the webcam only option on the previous screen, just because it tends to provide a little bit of a better experience while I'm trying to record, and a little bit more of a seamless process of uploading it. Once we upload or record a video directly into Studio, you can then have some editing options. Now, these options are continually being updated, so this is going to be like a little bit of a snapshot in time of what you can see. So just remember that with the webcam capture, you're not going to have a virtual background like you would in Zoom. So you can see my, this is in our old place, the basement of my wife's craft desk behind me with a lot of stuff on it. So if you don't want that, make sure that you record in Zoom so you can have a virtual background. It does give you options for mic and webcam, but after you finish recording, you click finish. You want to give it a name. And then if you need to start over because you messed up, you can click start over. I do that pretty often myself. With the screen capture here, you've got the idea for the different options here of how you can record that. Moving right along, here we go. This is what I want to get to. After you've recorded, this is what it looks like, where all of a sudden you have all of these options available for you. You'll see what it looks like. You're able to provide a title and description, but then you can start editing it. That's what I want to get to. Here we go, editing. When we get to editing, this is where you can start annotating this video. You can draw on the video. You can provide different colors. You can do different widths. You can even capture your cursor while you're drawing. So if you're doing like a science type of video and you want to circle things and you want them to follow your cursor around, you can do that. You can do any of these tools here on the right where it says cut and copy and hide. Lots of different options are available to you. And these are the same tools that are available in Screencast-O-Matic. Now, this is one of those things that you can get really involved with very, very quickly, or you can just keep things very general. I will tell you that most of the time, the tools that we use most often are things like cut. Let's say that you recorded a 7-minute video and really about 3 minutes in between, you kind of messed up a lot and you just want to kind of cut your edits out, or you want to edit those mess ups out. You can use the cut tool for that. You can select areas on the page or areas on the video and delete them and splice things back together. Another thing that we often use, I think it's in the overlay option, and that's where you can provide different types of annotations, different like drawings or things that you can put on top of the video to make sure that that it's there how you like it. And you can do little arrows and pointing things. It's a lot of fun. The main thing I want to tell you about this though is that you only have one chance to do this, and that's if you record the video in Studio and you put it up there. Before you click upload, you have to do all of your editing then. If you don't do your editing then it's not going to be available for you. So you have to make sure you do your editing in that moment. And this is why I said at the very beginning, make sure, if you want to, you can use these Zoom broadcasting rooms, Zoom casting rooms on campus, because they will allow you to have that time and have that space to do that type of editing. But if that's not something that you're interested in, we're going to show you some other options that you can use a little bit later for editing that are there. Now, this is an update where you can edit a little bit of the videos that are already uploaded, but it's very limited. So you're not going to have that full list of tools that I just showed you. You can cut and trim some of the videos. Cut meaning removing things from the middle of the video, trim meaning removing things from the beginning and end of the video. So let's say that, you started recording and then maybe something happened and you at the very beginning and you took a few seconds for you to get started. You can trim that off if you want. And you can do that directly into it in a video that's already been uploaded. But that's a new feature. So that's going to be something that's really exciting for you. This is just some more ideas about the tools that are there that we just talked about. And I think that brings us to, all these features are free inside of Studio. But again, it's only for those that are recorded in Studio. If you record somewhere else, then you're going to have to do that a different way. If you record in Zoom or something else, you just add that video directly into Studio. It would be an MP4 file is the technical term for it. Or you can pull something in that you've used from YouTube, like a YouTube link you can put directly in there. I will tell you, as far as accessibility is concerned, if you upload a video directly to Studio, you'll be able to have captions in Studio. If you pull in a video from YouTube, it will not pull the captions. So you'll have to provide either a transcript or a link to the actual YouTube video in the course so that students who need captions could view that as well. Now, the nice thing about Studio is that it allows you to share among different instructors or different people in our institution, or even to students. And that's really, really helpful because it's not just about embedding it in our courses. You can also just share the video. So let's say you and 2 or 3 other instructors want to get together and create videos for, a college algebra course. We're just going to divvy up the content. We're all going to take a different section. What you could do is each of you take those sections and you build that out. And then you share those videos among those instructors, or you can put them in a collection or something like that and share it so that everyone has access to those videos. To do that, you can share an individual video by opening the video, clicking the 3 little dots and clicking share. And then you can choose whether they can view it or edit the video, depending on what type of permissions you want them to have. And then you can type individual people in, or you can create a shareable link. That's also an option for you can just create the link, create the public link, share that with them. It also provides an embedded code so that you can put that in a different place. That's a really helpful option because it allows you to, like I said, be able to share those videos without it being embedded inside of a Canvas course. And it actually puts that video in that other instructor or other person's studio access. So when they click Studio, they'll be able to view those videos there and then embed them in courses that they would like. You can also download videos and then upload them somewhere else. And then adding them to adding them directly into Canvas is just through that rich content editor link that looks like a blue squid. And you can choose the video and add it directly in. Okay, some things that Studio does provide, and this is why we really recommend Studio for most of instructional videos, are things like captioning. Captioning is really important because it's required. It's an ADA compliance issue. So if we want our courses to be ADA compliant, we want our courses to be accessible, all of our videos have to have captions. To do that, it's really easy. You just go to the video in Studio, you click on it, and you click on captions. Then you can request those captions, and you have to say what language that's spoken. So the only time that this gets really difficult is if you are teaching a language-based class, and in the video you are speaking multiple languages. So if you're speaking English at the beginning and then switching to Spanish in your instruction, this kind of captioning doesn't really know what to do with that. It kind of messes up. So I would recommend either have a video in English or a video in Spanish so that you can get those captions really good. Otherwise, you're going to have to do that kind of editing. Because after you request the captions, then you'll get this little processing image, and then it'll bring up an editor that you can go in and edit those captions, which is really nice because if you're like me and sometimes a Southern accent comes out, you want to be able to come in and edit how to actually spell y'all instead of it doing what it does on captioning. So you also want to make sure that you look for anything like punctuation or capitalization, kind of proper grammar. While we kind of think through that may not be very important, it's incredibly important for a student that cannot hear and is solely relying on those captions for content. So while it may take a little bit of time, it's very, very important that we review and edit our captions before we publish them. And then once it's published, it's available inside of the course. So that's kind of what that editing looks like. You'll see how it's broken down by timestamp. You can click on it and edit specific spaces, which is really, really nice. That's also another reason why we want to make sure that you're not doing 25 to hour-long or 2-hour-long videos where you can just do captioning for 5 to 7 minutes a lot faster and work through the content a lot quicker. You can also allow comments if you would like. I'll say that I do comments in most of my videos, not necessarily the instructional videos because I want students to respond to those a different way, but because I teach public speaking. And so my students are presenting their speeches through Studio. I ask them to upload it in Studio so that I can provide time-based comments. So that's a really great use for this if you have students doing presentations in your courses, and you'll see even on the video where comments have been left. So students can come back and look through it. The other thing that I really like about Studio, and this is probably my favorite thing for the videos that I record and upload to Studio, are the insights. It allows me to know the number of views that have happened on that video, when it was viewed, the time it was viewed, how many times it's been viewed, how many unique viewers. It gives me a nice pretty little line graph for it. But what's really nice is I also can click on individual students and see who's viewed it and who hasn't. I have used that in the past for like, you know, midterm bonus points. I will tell students, you know, after they take their midterm, I'm going back to see how many of you watched my lecture videos. And if you watch them all, you're going to get really good. You're going to get a couple extra points in your midterm or some extra credit. It also allows me to go in and email specific students through message students who. Now, while this doesn't have a message students who feature, where it'll say, you know, email students who haven't viewed the video, I can at least message those students a different way and say, hi, you haven't opened this video, you haven't watched it, and it has important information. I especially do that for students where like I create a video with assignment instructions and I get a student that emails me, I don't know what to do. I'll go look to see if they watched the video, and then I'll email them and say, hey, it looks like you didn't watch the video I posted with all of these instructions and answers to these questions. Go watch that video and then email me back if you have questions. And generally that solves the problem. So with the final tab on that little thing is details. What's really important is that you give your videos descriptive titles. Don't just leave this untitled thing that's happening here. Like you see where it's got the date that it was done and it says untitled. Go ahead and edit that so that you can provide a descriptive title. That's helpful for the student, but really it's helpful for you, because when you pull up that studio library and it's just all of your videos listed, you want to be able to search for something descriptive and find it very quickly. So for example, a week 7 overview. In fact, even that I would include the name of the class. So like CST 100, week 7 overview, or the topic that's being covered in that specific video. Those are things that can be really, really very beneficial. So that was kind of a high-level overview of Studio. So for some of you, you may have checked out because you knew all of that. But I'm going to stop talking for a little bit, hand it over to Paige, who's going to tell you a little bit more about video quizzing and how you can use Studio to do that.
All right, so video quizzing. That's a great tool to use. That is something that students don't often encounter, but it's also a great way for you to use those videos that you're taking the time to record and edit and make sure that students are actually watching them. So how are you going to do that? So you're going to take that video, whether it's your video, a YouTube video, or a Zoom video that you've put into Studio, and you're going to go into your Studio library and click on the 3 dots that are up in the far right corner. Notice that you have a whole bunch of options. So your first option is going to be create a quiz. When you click on that, you're going to get some options. Now, there are not a lot of questions that you can ask in a video quiz, but there are some. So the first thing you're going to want to do is to give your quiz a title. And you're also going to want to give yourself a description. Remember that this description is not just for, it's for you as much as it is for the students. So do put a description in there about what the quiz is going to be about. Now, the next 2 things are both optional. Do you want to hide where the questions are going to appear in the timeline so that the students who are watching it, they don't know when they're going to have to get a question, so they can't just scrub through the video to get to those questions? And then also just allow displaying annotations on the timeline for students. So you can choose to turn those on or off. And once you've made all those choices, you're going to click on the button that says Get Started. Once you've chosen that, you're going to get to the beginning of your video. And at the beginning of your video, you can choose to play the video and stop the video where you want to add the question. When you do that, you're going to have to click on the plus, and then you're going to have 3 different kinds of questions that you can ask: a multiple choice, a true false, or a multiple answer. These are the 3 types, and this is what they look like. So you see you have and it tells you at the top, at the marker, where that question is going to appear. You also have some options like to shuffle, and you also have question feedback that you can provide. And notice that for true false, you have whether you can give the correct answer or not, and general feedback, and for all of the answers that you choose to give. So when you're making your choices, You can use multiple choice, which is this answer at the top, multiple answer, which is this one, or true false. So if you want to use video quizzes for a grade in Canvas, the first thing you're going to do is open an assignment, and I tend to call mine video quiz and name of the quiz. Then you're going to choose the submission type as an external tool. So you're going to go to the drop-down box and choose external tool. And then you're going to go to the box that says find. And then you're going to choose studio from the list. And then you're going to pick the quiz that you just created. And then you're going to click video quiz embed. And then you're going to choose embed, and then you're going to put in the rest of the details for the assignment, such as the date available, the due date, and then you're going to click save or save and publish. So again, to use a video quiz for a grade in Canvas, you must use it as an assignment, and it is an external tool submission type. Now, moving on to a new tool that some of you are probably very unfamiliar with, and that is Camtasia. Camtasia is available to all full-time faculty on your Germanna devices and staff. Camtasia is my absolute positively most favorite video editing tool. It is a session all on its own. I could spend hours just doing a Camtasia session. So please understand, I am giving you the bare bones Camtasia today. So where do you find Camtasia? Right now, we are on Camtasia 2022. And to do this, you're going to go to your Germanna laptop, and you're going to go to the search bar, and you're going to type in Camtasia. And it's going to pop up as Camtasia 2022. Now, it may ask you a couple things when the first time you click on it, but again, it's going to be right there on your laptop. When you open this, this is the first thing that you're going to see. This is the first window. You have a couple things that you can start with. You do even now have templates, and some of those templates are actually like if you wanted to specifically do something that was geared to a mobile device, you actually have a mobile device template. And there's some other templates that you could choose to use. But for the purpose of this, I'm just going to simply talk about doing a recording. And so with that, you're going to click on the new recording option. And then you're going to get basically a screen capture line. So this dotted line that you see in this bottom window is anything that is within that is going to be what is captured. But the top window are your options. This first one is the region that will be captured during the recording. The second one is your webcam. You can turn that on or off. The third one is your microphone. And the fourth one is your system audio. Again, the bottom button toggles on and off. You can choose which ones you want on. If you have a drop-down arrow, that's going to tell you that you have multiple options for picking cameras, choosing microphones. So if you're talking, and I always do a test, there's a little green bar here that will show up that lets you know that your microphone is working and so that you can be heard. In the region option, you do have the ability to change the size of this by using these little boxes on the side to make it larger or smaller. But you can also choose to click on the drop down, and from that drop down box, you can choose whole screen. And that way it will actually just automatically record the entire screen for you. So those are the things. And then of course you have the big red record button over on the right. Here's an option, like I said, with the drop down. And once you're ready, you just click on the record button. When you click the record button, it will give you a little countdown to let you know that it's getting ready. And then you record and you get your video. It automatically puts it into the window where you can begin to do all of the fun editing. This is what it looks like once you've made your video and where you're going to edit. There are many things in Camtasia. If you have a video such as Zoom and that you've recorded and you want to edit it in Camtasia, to do that, you're going to click on the plus and you're going to add the media, and then you can drag it down onto the timelines, and then you'll be able to edit it. So you can add any kind of media. You can add PowerPoints, you can add images, you can add anything you'd like to add to Camtasia by clicking on the plus. If you record a video, it automatically shows up in your media bin, which is what this is. So keeping that in mind, the next important thing is the playhead. The playhead locator is where you are in the video and what it is, or kind of where you want to make those edits and where you want to add or subtract things. Now, Camtasia also does, when you're using Camtasia to record, Camtasia will break things into tracks. So for example, if you're looking at the track 1 and track 2, track 1 is actually just the video. It is just the screen recording itself. And track 2 is the audio from the recording. Now, I actually didn't talk very much in this audio, so normally you would see squiggly lines where you would see the talking. Now, these buttons on the side, this is to lock it. If I wanted to be able to lock the audio so that if I were making edits to the track 1, that I don't actually make edits to track 1 or deletions from track 1, and I don't want them from track 2, or vice versa. So if I don't want to make edits to one track while I want to work on the other one, I can use the lock button to keep that from happening. And I've had to do that a lot when I've worked on very large projects. You can have multiple tracks. If I had a webcam, that would have been track 3. And if I would have had system audio, that would have been a track 4. So each track is its own, which gives you full capability to really hone in and change things. Let's also talk about the fact that you could change the volume of the audio. If your audio was not great, you actually would be able to increase the volume of the audio just by looking at this track and making it louder. Now, with Studio, you cannot, once the video is finished, you cannot go back and do edits in the middle or take out the ums or do the very intricate video editing that you can do in Camtasia. One of the things that you can do in Camtasia that you cannot do in Studio is you can split the video by using the playhead and taking these markers and separating them. So what I like to do is I find the place in the video, and then I will drag this red tab over as far as I want it. And then I will click the play button and it will play just this little piece right here. And I make sure that's exactly what I want. And then I can click delete. And then that piece of the video is gone. And then I can drag the other 2 portions back together. And then that basically I'm splicing the video. So I'm removing those sections and I'm able to trim out I can also increase the size by zooming out. And so that I can actually remove things like if I wanted to, so that I could get rid of all of the ums or ands and ahs and all of that in an audio recording. Some other really cool features that I'm going to talk about, not all of them again, are some annotations. So if you want to put like speech bubbles onto a video that calls attention to what they're seeing on the screen, you can click on the annotations and you have a bunch of options up here at the top. So these are the call out bubbles that you can use. And the call outs again go on to the, they go onto a different track. And again, you can choose how long they are displayed, and you can type the words in, as you can see where it says the ABCs, that tells you exactly that you can put text in there. And then you can move the bubble around so that you can see or draw attention to exactly what it is on the screen you want the student or whomever you're showing the video to pay attention to. The other thing that you have and you can do is you can blur out things. So you can take it and you can change and move around, and the blur again will go on the timeline. And again, it has its own track, and you can choose to make it display for as short or as long as you'd like. You can change the size of the blur by dragging the corner edges of the little icons here. And then the other options that you have, you can spotlight areas. So if you want to just have something that is very important, you can use the spotlight. Again, that's the same idea. Highlight and pixelate. So it just depends on which kind of tool you would like to use. This is a sketch motion. So if you wanted to draw a circle or a box or an arrow or anything around something, this is sketch motion. And again, that appears on the timeline, and you can make it display as long as you'd like. And again, you can change the size of it. You can turn the arrows to make them whatever direction. You can do all of those things. And this is a little GIF that I actually created inside of Camtasia to show you what sketch motion looks like. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a video. You can create your own little GIFs that are looping very, very short videos that basically play over and over and over again. Now, the other things that you see here are transitions. So transitions would be things that you could do between PowerPoints, and behaviors, again, the same kind of thing. Animations, that's the zoom and pan. If you wanted to zoom in on a certain area of the screen, that would be what that is. So, like I said, there's a lot to talk about in Camtasia, and I don't want to overwhelm, because it can be overwhelming because there are so many tools. But within Camtasia, if you click on the Help tab at the top, and then you choose Online Help or Video Tutorials, you can actually walk yourself through Camtasia's own videos on how to use Camtasia. We also have InfoBase, which you can find in MyGCC with Camtasia tutorials that will help you and teach you how to use many different functionalities of Camtasia. So that is video editing and recording in Camtasia. So the next thing we're going to talk about is Harmonize. And I am going to turn this over to Terry Milroy to talk to you about Harmonize.
Thank you so much, Paige. Okay, so I don't know how many of you are familiar with Harmonize, but if you're not, Harmonize is an integration that we use in Canvas, and it is something that can replace the Canvas discussions because it has more features. So what we're going to talk about today is how to edit images and videos in Harmonize. Now you'll see on your screen that Harmonize can become part of your course navigation, but much like Cengage and Macmillan and Pearson, you may need to go to your course settings and drag it up to be able to see it. But you can always, you can always also add it from the external tool, which we're going to see in just a moment. So when you're creating an assignment, if you choose the assignment type as external tool that's demonstrated up here on the top left, then you can scroll down to a Harmonize assignment. And right now there are two different types of Harmonize assignments you can choose from. You can choose a discussion or you can choose a poll. Polls are pretty self-explanatory. They're kind of like Zoom polls, so we're not going to do that today, but we are going to talk about the discussions. When you get a discussion open, you're going to click Edit over here in where you see on the right blue screen. Edit is up here towards the top right. And you're going to get the option to fill in instructions, to add files, to change the settings for this post and other things. So you're going to want to put your instructions in here. And then you're going to be able to annotate any images or videos that you add. So what you'll see here is that once you have actually created the instructions, you can participate, or students can participate, by clicking Create Post. So if you are maybe participating in an introduction of yourself to the class and they're going to introduce themselves as well, then you might want to start here, or students can use this in the exact same way. When you click Create Post, you get the box that you see over here on the right-hand side, where you're going to put the subject. You or they can tag other people in the class, and you can type any information that you want in terms of response to the question that's posed in the discussion. But what's great is what comes below that. For number 4, you can add image files or other document files from your computer. And you can also do that down here at the bottom where you have all of the buttons. So if you click on the picture icon down here at the bottom left, then you can choose an image from your computer. You can also link to something if you've got like a YouTube link that you want to embed. There's also this video camera icon. And from there, you can create up to a 5-minute video to add of yourself to your post, which is really cool. There's also the ability to add a calendar thing and a poll, all sorts of great options. And what's also nice is on the far right, you can look and see, you can preview what you've done. And if you're not done yet, if you're looking for more information, down here in the blue bar, you can see in tiny letters, it says Save and Collapse. So it will actually save your post before it publishes it for other people to see. So once you've got all of these options added to your post, you can edit. So if you're going to do a video, you're going to want to choose video, or actually you can record audio and use this like a podcast. So choose either one, and you're going to get this player down here below that has the red button. The red button will start the recording. And again, you've got up to 5 minutes to record. Then when you have the video done, you have the option to edit. And all you have to do to get the editor is to click on the image or the video that you have. In this case, this is an image. And all of these tools are going to come up for you on the left and up at the top. And over on the right-hand side, I've given you a little cheat sheet for the keyboard shortcuts for some of these. But you have options to highlight. You've got options to do a point annotation. You can draw symbols or shapes around various parts of your image or your video. And you can even write or make curved lines, pan, do whatever you want in this video until you get it the way you want it. And then again, you'll publish. The same thing is true with videos. The only thing about editing the video that's different about an image is that you're going to have to play the video sort of like you did in Studio until you get to where you want to change things. And then you're going to want to click the green Annotate button. And the green Annotate button will then bring up the same editing tools you had for images. And once you're done with editing the video, however you want it, again, you publish, and that will be added to the video in your post. The only other thing I want to say really quickly before we conclude is that coming up for Harmonize, we are going to get access to social annotations. That's not really video, but we wanted to mention it because some of you have inquired about social annotation tools. And Harmonize is going to have a social annotation tool for PDFs that will be coming soon that will hopefully be available for our fall semester. And it will be something that we don't have to buy separately. It will be automatically available when it becomes available to all VCCS schools. So we just wanted to put that out there for those of you who are interested. And obviously, we want to thank everybody for being here. Thanks to Wesley and Paige for doing most of the work and the heavy lifting for today. And if you have any questions about anything that you learned today, you can always contact ISS at the email on your screen.